In this vlog, we have invited lower school parents in to take a deep dive into discovery. You'll see we have some parents. These are some parent panel reps as we test out this concept. We wanted to take parents in to see a typical class and talk to the teacher, learn about their background, talk about how the class works, and then sort of see what actually happens in a class. So we're in discovery. The kids are learning how to create earthquake-resistant structures, and you'll get to see a little bit about that and hear a little bit from Mary White.
In case you didn't catch it, my name's Mary White, and my journey to Christ Church is probably a little bit different than most of the other teachers that your children are exposed to. So I actually don't have a degree in education. My degree is in nutrition. So I used to work at a hospital for a while, and it just wasn't the right fit for me. I wanted to do something where I could talk with people a little bit more. So I switched gears completely, and I decided to work at the Children's Museum of the Upstate. And that is kind of where I really focused in on their programming department. So doing homeschool classes, field trips. I'm sure a lot of you have probably been there before, but kind of more of specialized programming for kids. And then I saw on Christ Church's website that they were hiring for a part-time science teacher. So I was like, okay, I'll just send my resume and we'll see what happens. And then kind of the rest is a little bit history. This is only my second year, but the experience has been completely amazing. I love working here and seeing. When I was at the museum, it was also amazing, but it's in a different way because it's only one-time interaction. Different being able to see them once a week, throughout the school year. I like that kind of more long-term interaction with children. But let's talk about discovery. So a lot of you kind of mentioned that hopefully your children are telling you what we do, but in discovery, this is hands-on science. All right, so that's kind of what we do, but I really like to focus on how we do it. So really, the way that I think is easiest for children is creating meaningful experiences. Something that, when they do it, they're learning, but they're also excited to kind of bring it home and take that learning home with them. So I love hearing that your children are trying to get balloons and perform the science experiments for you. Today, what you're gonna see is a third grade class. So they have just wrapped up their earth science unit. So we've been talking about the rock that composed the earth, and we talked about plate tectonics, because their next big science unit, which technically they're starting today, is natural disasters. So today we're gonna kind of ease into it, and we're gonna talk about earthquakes because that relates very closely to what they've already been studying for a couple weeks now. This will be a little bit easier to notice when the class actually starts, but the flow of discovery, I would say generally across the board, no matter if your child's in primer or in third grade, fourth grade, upper elementary, the flow is kind of the same. It's more of an engineering activity. So they are gonna get a paper plate, and I know it's a little hard to see, but basically this is just a gelatin square. And then they're also gonna get toothpicks and marshmallows. So their goal within 15 minutes is they're gonna have to come up with an idea for an earthquake resistant structure. And then before they can get their materials, they have to sketch it out. So they gotta come up with a plan, and then they'll turn in their sketch, grab their tray, and then work within their science teams, the tables, to kind of build their structure. After they build it, or when they think they have a pretty good idea, they're gonna have to do 4 rounds of testing. So different magnitudes of earthquakes. So at first they'll have to tap it, pretty easy, and then they'll go to a gentle sway. We'll see how gentle they do it.
I was gonna say that's risky.
But then the third one, they can do it a lot more. And then the last one, this is where it kind of gets interesting. They'll have to hold it up just a little bit. So we're not dropping it from a height. We're not standing on stools. And then they have to drop it down and see how their structure does. So that's kind of a recap of what we're gonna be doing, a quick kind of run through. I always like to end with what I call share outs. So basically they just come up in front of the class and they kind of share how the activity went. For this one, I'm going to be really looking and stressing teamwork skills, working as a team. So not just one person taking lead on everything, and we're only doing what they want to do. Everyone looking at the Promethean board, I want you to really look at this picture. Use your scientist thinking brains. Raise your hand if you have an idea of what natural disaster created this. Are we doing like racing? Kind of like here, you have it. Okay.
We can add more stuff onto this.
These are like second options.
Yeah, like just in case. Okay, now we have to tap it. Hey.
Today for share outs, before I take my volunteers, talk about how sketch compares to your ad.
And attach the house to the underground brick. It might be some.
But sometimes I will like move. I love that idea. Yeah.
I thought you might circle.